Hey, it's me, Tim, and I had a really fun one come across the bench today, so I thought I'd put together a quick video about that. In case you didn't know, I've been making my own pickups for many years now, and I sell some individually over at newperspectivesmusic.com, some of my own designs, and I've actually even made a few weird one-offs for people, and then of course my instruments get them. And I've been making this really cool like magnetic upright bass pickup. I'm real proud of this, really changing the game for a lot of upright bass players. So because of all this stuff, my pickup making has apparently gotten out a little more, and I had someone contact me and ask me if I would rewind their old Goldfoil pickup. Now normally I would say no to rewinding other pickups because I'm just not really into that. I'm into making my own thing. But this particular Goldfoil pickup that he had is exactly what my $2 bill, well here, one of these, my $2 bill pickup was modeled after, and so I thought it'd be fun to rewind it and see what it sounds like in comparison to my more modernized version of it. So let's have a go. I guess the customer no longer had the original copper wire that came with it, so he sent me just the case, the magnet that went inside, and also this piece of a coffee filter to use for the Goldfoil top, which fits right into my reclaiming sort of world. So I cut a piece of that goldish mesh to put into the top of the pickup, and then set about figuring out how I was going to rewind this whole thing. These are very thin surface mount pickups, so there's not a lot of room to work with in there. So I decided to take the same approach that I take on my $2 bill foils and make bobbins, so to speak, from the thinnest material I had that would insulate everything from each other. And I just used these cereal box pieces. Is one of my favorite materials to reclaim. Glued them to the magnet, and then that gave me like a little bobbin to set up on my string winding contraption. I also use 44 gauge wire and some two-sided tape to stick it on there. 44 gauge being something, since this pickup's so small, I could get more wraps of that than I could a thicker 42 gauge wire. I ended up getting about 4,000 winds on it. I had this really cool sort of human surrogate robot thing to sort of feed the wire left and right as it goes around the bobbin, but this bobbin is so skinny it was tricky to really dial it in to have it stay in the space that it needed to be in. It would have been easier probably to do it by hand, but that would have meant rigging up something else. With the bobbin wound, I had to connect the beginning and end of the wires to positive and negative terminals, and I choose a little bit of copper shielding tape as sort of a base because I didn't really have anything to stick my usual grommet into, and I was able to sort of solder the wires to the copper, and then that gave me, a little surface to work off of. But I also have to make sure to insulate the positive side so it doesn't touch the, just checking to make sure it worked, so it doesn't touch the metal case and ground it out. And so just a little bit of shielding tape took care of that. This is just a cloth electrical tape. But I do want the negative wire, the ground, to make contact with the body, which there was a little spot inside the case to solder a wire to, and I was able to just sort of connect the negative lead with a little extra solder there, so it was to make sure it was actually fully contacting the case. Keep checking as I go. Little two-sided tape to hold it still. There you go. You see I'm just getting a little bit of solder onto the body before I run the wires through and close it all up. Yeah, I stripped a little tiny piece of wire and just kind of ran it to that softer spot where it would stick to. Now, there are 4 tabs on the bottom of this pickup to hold it closed, but 2 of them were broken, of course. So I ended up using a little bit of glue to help me keep it closed. And then I wax potted it. Unless you're new here, you probably already know this. I don't really put commercials in my videos for like big corporate overlords and stuff. It's not the way I roll, but I do sometimes drop in little commercials for myself. My main business being newperspectivesmusic.com, where I make and sell guitars, and that's how you can contact me about getting custom commission builds and stuff made. Custom pickups, all sorts of stuff. I also carry an inventory of, besides just some guitars, some things like that, some pickups, and my newest thing I'm really proud of are I'm making made-to-order custom cables using all the highest end quality stuff. There's a video about it if you want to go watch it. And so I keep a couple sizes in stock, like the standard sizes, but I'm also making them to order to length, anything that you might need. So if you're looking for that 9-foot cable for some specific operation, I can do it for you over at newperspectivesmusic.com. Okay, let's get back to this video. And the length of that commercial break is about how long I let it sit in the wax, maybe a little bit longer. So regular viewers will recognize this guitar. This is this acoustic guitar I've been working on, and I was messing around with another sliding pickup system on it, which I hate. But it's got one of my very basic issue $2 bill foils in there, so I thought this would be a good guitar to try out, and we'll see what this $2 bill pickup sounds like, and then in comparison to this Rewired Goldfoil, which I just wired straight to a jack. So this is going through some electronics, which will take away a little bit of the color and top end from it. Also, when we put this in, it's probably going to sit a little bit higher because it's not in the bracket, so it might be a little bit hotter. Plus, it's on top of this wire. Yeah, it's definitely closer to the strings, but we'll try to put it in the same position and hear what it sounds like. So I'm just going to plug into my practice shop amp over here. It's just a little line 6 amp, and we'll listen to my pickup first. Yeah, I'm gonna make it kind of loud so we don't hear the acoustic too much. So then we'll go right about there. I'll mark exactly the center. Now we'll put this bad boy in. Don't fall. Pretty similar. This one is 4.45K, whereas this one's more like 5.5K. So that's partly why this might be a little brighter. Plus, it's a little bit closer to the strings, and plus, this is going through some circuitry here. Even though the circuitry is turned off, it still affects the sound a little bit. But they sound pretty similar, which is really cool because that means that my $2 bill foils are as they're supposed to, sounding like vintage gold foils. And of course, yes, I realize this vintage Goldfoil was just rewound by the guy that wound those, so I'm sure that plays a lot into the similarities too. But that was, you know, based off the recipe that I had seen for these. So I think we're pretty close. I mean, you know, age does its thing. The magnet's old in this, not the wire. The metal cases are similar. So this is done and on its way to its rightful owner, along with he also requested a $2 bill foil to go with it. So now, I don't know, some guitar that this guy's going to put together is going to have this set of pickups on it, bridge and neck, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. I can't wait to hear it.